Hello, you might recognize my voice. I'm former President Bill Clinton. This is a historic week in our country's history. No, not that Donald Trump beat my Hillary in the presidential election, but it's because John and Deuce are releasing their first bonus episode. So sit back and enjoy the Brand X post-election pre-apocalypse episode. And if any of you know Monica, tell her I'm looking for her. Welcome to a bonus episode of the Brand X podcast. Hello there, Deuce. How are you doing, sir?
Hello there, John. How are you doing?
I was worried about you. I thought you might have to go to the hospital because you smiled so wide that you swallowed your ears. Deuce is over here. He's got his chest pumped out. He's all glowing. He's all right. And that's
the beer.
And I have a big old plate of crow over here that I'm going to have to start on and munch through during this episode. And, sir, you warned me.
Now, see?
You warned me. You said, you know what? You're going to look stupid. And there was no way that I thought that Donald Trump was going to be the 45th president of the United States. And I was wrong.
You and the pollsters and the pundits and everybody was wrong on that. And I kept telling you whenever you would want to talk about politics, I said, don't believe the polls because they're just too fluid. Yeah, when you're right, you're right.
Well, we were talking about.
No, I'm not here to gloat or anything because it's just. No, I'm not at all. It's just that the numbers on all those various different polls just didn't make any sense, and I don't know why they were so wrong. I mean, they'll be dissecting this election for years to come, but it was way wrong.
And I wish I had taken the time to dig back through the episodes of To Be Honest podcast when I talked to my sister about this. And I said, if they don't nip this in the bud, he could, gather momentum, and then we could end up he could be the next president of the United States. I said, don't take him lightly. And what's going on over there? You're looking over there like something like you just saw a rat.
No.
You just look. Now I know what you go through when you see me getting ready to do something with the, me moving around.
I rearranged something on my board, and I'm like wondering what did I do with it.
Oh, I see. That's what I did with the Jimmy the other day.
But the other window, no, not the soundboard, just my desktop.
Ah, okay.
And I was like, now where did I put that file? So, but I digress.
Where did that go?
But the sweet, ironic thing about this is Hillary and Bill Clinton were the ones that told Donald Trump that he should run. Now, how's that for the ultimate kick in the nuts?
Well, here's the thing. I got to tell you, my stance on this has been the whole time
conspiratorial.
Yes. Let's put somebody in place that there's no way that I can lose. Because in my heart of hearts, I believe that Hillary Clinton thought that she deserved to be the president of the United States, that she put up enough with Bill, the cheating, the, having to step down when Obama, she thought she was going to go in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I think you should really say thank you very much to President Obama for the simple fact that if not, she would have been in for 8 years. Okay. And
well, a lot of things coalesced at the last minute. And I think one of the biggest things that helped Trump was the Obamacare premium skyrocketing 3 weeks out of the election, and people started to see what we talked about it before. Arizona went up 114%. States were going up 50, depending on the state you lived in, they were going up 50, 60, 70% in the premiums. And that was it. The
insurance company figured that they had you buy the short ones.
Yeah, well, the insurance companies aren't really to blame as much as I know Obama and his administration want to blame them for the greed of that. But they made the rules. They're following the rules that Obamacare laid out. You cannot control the free market that way. It cannot be done. Every time it's tried, it fails in instances like this.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
And we're going off. We're going to go on a little tangent here. I apologize. Is it really a free market?
Sure. As long as the free market has to be defined as less government intervention.
But what I'm saying is, isn't there enough regulations in the insurance industry where it's not really a free market that they've kind of
not
deviated?
now with Obamacare, there isn't.
Well, can I go to Pennsylvania because they have cheaper premiums and buy my insurance in Pennsylvania?
No, the government rigged that system.
So is it really a free market system? Play that music again.
At that aspect, this one? At that aspect, no, it is not. And that is something that the conservatives or the Republicans have been trying to fight for decades now.
Right. So what I'm saying is that it's rigged. Right. That's right. The insurance company is rigged. Right.
Well, it's rigged because of government intervention. Whenever the government's involved, it distorts the market.
And again, I'll go back to why is the government involved? Because insurance companies said, hey, you know what? If we can go in there and dump some money and get these laws passed or these regulations passed, that this money will be a pittance to the amount of money that we can make. And to be honest with you, I say let's open it up and make it a free market system.
Well, it should be that way because you can buy anything you want across state lines except for healthcare insurance or medical
insurance, car insurance. I can't go to Pennsylvania and buy car insurance or Delaware where it's cheaper.
You can.
But I can't buy it. But
you can get a hold of an insurance carrier in Oregon or Washington or California. And if they do business in the state of New Jersey or wherever you're from, you can buy car insurance or boat insurance or renter's insurance over state lines. Life insurance, you can buy it.
I did not know that.
It's just health insurance, and they got you by the short hairs.
Okay. So that being said, because a lot of people are freaking out that, now they have Obamacare and they're going to lose their Obamacare and they have pre-existing conditions, which means now when they go to get other health insurance, that they're going to be blocked out and they cannot get back in. They cannot get back in and they cannot be covered.
Well, Ben Carson, from what I understand, he's going to be the one that's going to be heading up the repealing and replacing of Obamacare.
Well, there we go.
There are some aspects of Obamacare that will probably stay, that being one of them. One of the ones that I do not agree with is where your kid is on your insurance policy till he's 26 or she is 26. So it's just, that's just ludicrous. Like you're still a child at 26.
No, the problem is...
It's no wonder these millennials are like, whacked
well, we'll get
out.
into... Listen, I already got a beef with the millennials in a moment. But what happens is that the kids can't get a job. They can't afford insurance, so the parents are already paying for it.
Well, because there's no jobs out there because of the way the economy's been. When the economy opens up, then the jobs open up.
Right.
I mean, if Trump can pull off what he campaigned on, being in college right now is the best time to be in college, because if he can unleash the free market of this country, you will be graduating into an exploding job market. Just like the people that were in college when Carter was president, when Reagan took over, when they graduated, they graduated into an exploding job market.
Well, that's all fine and dandy, okay? And I'm all for that. But you've had 8 years since 2008, probably 10 years, of the economy on its nose, and you have all those classes, all those graduating students that are out there working in menial jobs because they can't find a good job. So They have, not only do they have to forget about the kids that are coming out, you got the kids that are 20, 30, in their 30s, and they've never really had a good job.
Right. And there's various reasons for that. But one of the biggest reasons is under this administration, particularly, is direct government intervention, distorting the market. You can't, there's going to be boom cycles. There's going to be bust cycles. Nobody can control that. It's the free market in action.
Okay.
You're going to have that. This administration thinks, and generally liberals at large, they think that you can control things And you can't control things because you cannot control people's wants and desires. If I want a new car every 2 years, they can't control that, but if for some reason I can't go out and do that, they can't control that either,
Okay. All right, so let's get back to the election. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting here Tuesday night. I went out and voted. I adulted like early around 10 o'clock, went in. And usually,
what is Aleppo?
Yes, I went in to vote for my boy, Gary Johnson.
And what is Aleppo?
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I had to think about, when I walked in there was a time when I walked in there and I said to myself, am I really throwing my vote away? Am I really throwing my vote away? And then I looked at the Clinton ballot and I looked at the Trump ballot and I said, I can't. I really can't. I really despise both of these candidates. I can't vote, but I have to vote. And I looked at Johnson. I said, I believe in everything he believes. Even if he doesn't know where Aleppo is, even if he doesn't know any of the world leaders, I still believed in what he believed in.
And even though he doesn't like to wear a tie.
He doesn't like to wear a tie, even though he wears jeans with his jacket, even though he likes marijuana. He doesn't smoke. He eats edibles.
No, he lost me on the tie. That's right.
Oh, it's the tie thing, right? Jesus. We are so picky. It's like, oh, he has all these great ideas. Yeah, but he doesn't wear a tie. Who the fuck cares if he wears a tie?
Did you really believe that I believe that?
Oh. Listen, I'm a little twitchy right now. You missed one city and everybody loses their fucking mind. Exactly. So I go in there and I said, no, you know what? I'm going to vote. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to vote for Johnson. And I did. And I walked out. You know what? After I walked out of there, I felt good. I did. I felt good. So I knew that was the right choice for me. Not for everybody, but for me. So I'm sitting here that night and I'm working. And I said, well, let me see what's going on with the election. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the election. And I'll tell you one thing about Facebook and Facebook Live and Facebook videos. Say what you want, but a lot of people are on Facebook. And it draws a lot of attention. So I look at my Facebook feed and I go, oh, look, The Blaze has got some kind of coverage going on. So The Blaze is Glenn Beck's network, and it has that Tommy, what's her last name? Like Lauren, or whatever her last name.
Lauren,
something.
I know who you
Tommy.
mean.
The cute blonde, the 24-year-old cute blonde who comes on and yells at liberals every day. Her final thoughts, my final thoughts. So I said, well, let me see what's going on here. So I I have my iPhone right here. I have it on a stand. I turned it on, and these guys are sitting in a big giant room. And it's got a couch and some chairs and a chalkboard and stuff, and they're sitting there talking. And here what they did was they were just a bunch of people in there, Democrats, Republicans, independents, that were watching the results, that were political, they were into the political scene, and, they watch this like we watch sports. So they're sitting in there, and the next thing you know, they got the big bottle of vodka. And when I say the big bottle of vodka, they got the handle, because the bottle's so big, you need a handle to carry it. It's like the half gallon. So they got a handle of vodka. They got some tequila in there. They brought in pizza, and they're trying to go through
the vodka for the Democrats to numb the pain.
Well, say what you want, but Glenn Beck basically had Donald Trump on his show and said, I will not support you. Mm-hmm. And Glenn Beck also knows that what happens is when you cross Donald Trump, he buries you. He buries you like a cat turd. So he's thinking, if Donald Trump wins, he's in big trouble because he's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. It's his influence is part of his brand. So one of the things that he does to calm himself is paint. So he's got an easel and paintbrushes, and he's painting a scene. I don't know what he's painting in the background. It looked like he's
doing
like
the Bob Ross, like happy little trees.
Yeah, well, that was kind of what it was like. So he's painting. The other guy at the chalkboard, he's sitting there with a bottle of vodka. They're doing shots, and they're talking about this whole thing. So all of a sudden, the big thing was that Florida needs to be, if Trump can't win Florida, he can't win.
It was too close to call. Yeah.
Right, so then it becomes too close to call. So they're still not giving in. They're like, it's a long shot, but he does need this. If he wins Florida, he has a path. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay. Now they call Florida for him. So now everybody gets nervous. Everybody's twitchy. Everybody is They're, you can tell that they're like, holy cow, we might be finding out right now, we might be watching something historic. I'm continuing to work, and I'm watching and I'm listening and all this kind of stuff. Once Michigan and Wisconsin was in play and Pennsylvania, they got really, really nervous. And there's that thing for the New York Times that tells them what's the percentage chance of that person, the candidate being the president. And I think he went from 10% to 90% chance of him being the president.
Yeah, I was watching Fox.
Of course you were. What else would you be watching?
Well, why would I want some irrational Rachel Maddow
you want to know
meltdown?
why? I'll tell you why. Because it was fantastic. Well, it was fantastic to watch them go crazy.
I don't want drama. I want facts. So I watch Fox. So like you said, Florida was too close to call, and then North Carolina and Ohio were too close to call. So he got those three in his pocket. And I was like, this is great. So, yeah, because then all he had to do was turn one of the blue states. And we were sitting there, Diane and I was up all night. I was up 43 straight hours because I went to work the next day. So, which is when I got home.
Was it because you couldn't sleep? Because I went to by 3 o'clock.
I was just too excited. It was great because every time they would close, every time a time zone came by and they closed polls in those states, then they would start tallying it up. And then next thing I knew, he was 16, electoral votes away.
Right.
But anyway, we were sitting there and everything's there. And, it got palpable. When he got the three that he needed, they started talking about this could be a historic election that no one foresaw. They called Wisconsin for Trump. And I turned around and I looked at Diane and I said, he just won the election. And little did I never thought that he would flip Pennsylvania. But the thing was, a year ago, they laughed at him because he said New Jersey didn't flip, of course, neither did New York.
Right.
But he said that he could put all those states in play. And damn if he didn't. I mean, I thought it was pie in the sky myself. But he flipped 3 blue states.
I thought he had a chance with New York because he was from New York. You know what I mean? And Clinton really wasn't from New York. But I guess the liberal base there is too strong.
You're talking 9 million people. That's like the population of New Jersey alone, just on that island.
Right.
In the 5 boroughs. So it's
and then we're talking about the rest
that's a huge
of the state
number.
Too.
Well, yeah, but the rest of the state, New York is like Pennsylvania. You got Albany, which is the capital, and then you got like Buffalo, but the rest of the state is pretty, rural.
Yeah, exactly. So here's my question. I guess my question is how did he? That seems to take too long. But anyhow, I'm done. But don't stop doing it. Here's the thing: why? How did he win the vote? What happened? There was no way that I thought that he could gather enough votes, especially for everything he did, everybody he insulted. How did he do this?
Well, like I said, they're going to dissect this for a while, and from what I've been reading up on and following, on various outlets that I follow, the big thing was he turned 3 states that went for Obama twice. Mm-hmm. And I think Pennsylvania, the last time they went Republican was for Reagan in 1984. I mean, you're talking 32 years,
So what?
Going deep blue. So because Obama, one of the things that his administration, they have this war on coal going. They've shut down the coal industry. They're shutting down coal mines. He won West Virginia, Trump. Mm-hmm. He won Pennsylvania. That's coal cracker country right there. Then you got the Rust Belt of Michigan and Wisconsin where Detroit, not the Detroit area itself went for Trump.
Right. But
you have a lot of people that their jobs were, people want to work.
They do want to work.
These people want to work, and they see, Trump had his fingers on the pulse beat of the nation, though no one realized it. Because everyone, the way he was covered, he was just a buffoon. And he's far from perfect. I'm not defending the guy. He's not the candidate that I wanted.
Right.
But he kept her out, so I'm happy on that aspect.
You know what? I am too now. I'm glad that we don't have President Clinton. I really am. I hope that what I've seen from what he's done so far in the past 4 or 5 days, I like what he's saying, what he wants to do. Now, here's the thing, my friend. I guess in 4 years, this country's going to be paradise because you guys have no excuses now. You have the House, you have the Senate.
Well, we have the Senate by, I believe, a 2-vote majority.
What does that mean?
Well, because there's a big difference. Because a majority is different whether the Democrats hold it or when the Republicans hold it.
You're already hedging your bets now? You're already making excuses?
I'm not making excuses because you just love to jump down. Are you going to listen to what I have to say, or are you just going to jump down my throat?
I had to interject a little bit there. Go ahead.
Because the Democrats, for better or for worse, is for better if you're a Democrat, they will have solidarity. They may not agree on the mechanism or how to do it, but when something comes down that chamber, very few of them break ranks. Now, also what you have to remember is you have Bernie Sanders. He changed his affiliation back to an independent, but he always caucuses with the Democrats.
He's a Democrat.
Right.
Look,
you have wishy-washy Republicans like Olympia Snowe when she used to be in, and now you have, I don't even know if she won yet, the Aulette, I think her name is. From one of they will.
So you're saying
they'll put their finger in the air and test the polls on how that's going to affect their next reelection bid. So John McCain, a rhino. You had Lindsey Graham, rhino. You have senators like that. So even though the Republicans have the majority, you may have some of them that will break, especially Northeastern Republicans if there are any, or John McCain or Lindsey Graham. I think he's outdone, or he didn't run. But next time around, the Democrats have to defend more seats than the Republicans. This election, the Republicans had to defend more seats, and the Democrats can only flip 2.
All right. So next, in 2 years, you basically got 2 years to make this better, or you could lose the House and the Senate again.
Well, yeah, anything's possible. Also, now you have Chucky Schmucky Schumer. He has replaced the despicable Harry Reid as the minority whip, and he is a shrewd politician. Now, you will have, they will filibuster everything, every chance they get, which is their right. It's the way it goes.
See, they should do away with that. They really should do away with it. What does that do?
Well, because
it's a time waster.
It's not a time waster. It's a defense mechanism to keep the majority from bulldozing whatever they want over you. Suppose that's a whole different matter. But, I mean, it could be something that you are very much against, and if it's just a major, that's why you have the 2/3 rule. Then they get into talk about the nuclear option, doing away with that. Cloture. There's a whole bunch of parliamentary procedures that are involved that people really don't care about. And I'm not even going to get into right now.
And we thank you for that.
The first 2 years, when President George W. Bush was in office, and he had the Senate and he had the Congress, the House of Representatives. And you would never know that because whatever happened, Bug-Eyed Nancy Pelosi would be out there on the podium speaking against whatever legislation came down, and Chucky Schmucky Schumer would be out there doing the same thing. And people are like, it sends a message and a perception out to the public at large, like, oh, well, look at the Democrats. They're out there fighting. What they don't know is that the Republicans are doing the same exact things in their offices, but because the media chooses not to cover that, it looks like that the Republicans weren't doing anything. It's all theater of the mind.
So do you think that the American people are now fed up with all this nonsense and we want action? We want action. Wouldn't you say that?
I would like to think that, but past history has shown me now that this election's over, everyone will be caring about the Kardashians again and, the 25 most outrageous celebrity secrets that you see on Facebook, like clickbait and, selfies on Instagram, whatever.
I kind of like what he does, what he says he's going to do if he does it. I mean, I don't mind repealing the Obamacare, but we need an option. And we are supposed to be the best country in the world. Why can't we have a affordable health care system like Canada has?
That's apples and oranges. Canada's population is 35 million. The population of California is 38 million.
Okay.
So now there's less people. We have 316 million people. So there's a big difference between giving everybody health care from 35 million to, 316 million. Who's going to pay for that?
Everybody pays for it.
No, because you got 47% of the population of this country that aren't paying any federal income taxes at all. So
that's
who
where
picks up the slack?
Jackass.
Jackass always takes it up the ass.
Jackass always takes it up the ass.
Okay, and that's why you can't be done. Okay.
Well, why can't we make it affordable? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, because the system's here. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember it because.
Of course you do.
Right. Well, it's what I do. Back in the 80s when Reagan took office, I don't know if you flew on airlines back then, but the airline industry was heavily regulated and overregulated and re-overregulated by the federal government. So I remember my parents flying out to Las Vegas back in the 70s, where a round trip ticket then was about $600 to $800. Okay. And that was in 1970s money. Well, that's like $2,500 in today's dollars. So Reagan took office, and they're looking at this, and he's like, why is the federal government in charge of regulating the airlines? We don't know anything about regulating an airline. How about if we deregulate? We're getting out. Let the airline industries do that. What's a round trip ticket to Vegas or Florida cost now?
About $300.
Right. Depending on how far out you book and what airline you choose. I mean, I've seen these low prices of $1.99 sometimes if you go 2-3 months out. Yeah. And that's what deregulation does, because when the government is involved, they distort the market. Cash for clunkers. There's a more recent example when Obama first came in. We're going, cash for clunkers.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, that was a disaster. And they don't talk about it.
I forgot all about cash for clunkers.
The unintended consequences of that. Now, I sold cars, and I still have friends that are selling cars when I was selling cars. And basically, when that got out, nobody bought a car for 2-3 months. Guys starved to death as car salesmen. And then it came in, and at the end of it all, basically 1 year's worth of car sales was crammed into a 2.5-month period, and that was it. Now, what that also did is they crushed all these so-called junk cars. What that did to brand new drivers or someone who was just looking to pick up a second car, the used car prices went through the roof, because you cannot alter the laws of supply and demand. The more there is of something, the cheaper the price are going to do. If you had parts that you were going to restore a car, if you needed a fender or you needed a windshield, it all got crushed. And the parts market of those parts went through the roof. But no, there's Obama up there smiling and waving, like the prom queen in a convertible, just driving down the road. Look what I did, everybody. You cost everybody more money, and, this is why it's harder to be a conservative, because you have to set up a historical context where on the other side, all you got to do is march down Broad Street and say, not my president. So,
let's get into that.
Yeah, learn a chant, this is what democracy looks like. No, this is what anarchy, this is what the French Revolution looks like, and they cut off 200,000 of each other's heads.
Well, sounds like things are heating up between the boys now. But we'd like to take this time and take a break and talk to you about the Podern family.
Hello, everyone. This is Jason from the 3 Is Comedy podcast, featuring myself and fellow podcast comedians Bob and Mindy. Our podcast is a variety comedy show featuring a wide range of segment topics aimed at turning everyday life into laughter. But we also happen to be pretty good rappers. 3 Is Comedy, this ain't a spelling bee.
3 fine folks bringing laughter to the family.
Tell the kids to leave because we're dropping profanity.
Okay, so maybe we're not good rappers, but we do know how to bring the comedy. You can check us out on iTunes or Stitcher, or you can visit our website, 3iscomedy.podbean.com.
All right, Kenny, we're going to record some Now That I'm Older promos.
No.
Dude, just tell everybody that Now That I'm Older is on every Thursday.
I'm not going to do that.
Dude, God damn it. Okay, Now That I'm Older is on every Thursday on the Rogue Incel Podcast Network.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Every Thursday.
No, it's not. It's on Tuesdays.
God damn it. Just listen to Now That I'm Older on Thursday.
On Tuesday.
Welcome back to the Brand X Podcast Bonus Edition, post-election pre-apocalypse. Now let's get back into it with the boys.
All right, so immediately we started having, and I mean all across the country, all at once, we have these protests. And I'm saying a lot of people are there. So I guess, how did they, first of all, organize all this?
Well, they're paid.
I thought I shut you off.
Well, evidently you're wrong.
Wrong.
I thought you were like starting Nestle's quick or something. What the hell kind of a sound effect is that?
Stupid iPhone. Alarm. So you're saying that they're being paid.
Right. There's pictures of ads on Craigslist to protest in Philadelphia. There's pictures, I believe, in Texas of bus after bus after bus parked on the side where all these protesters came in on. It's just like the paid protest. It's an old Soviet Union communist thing, and of course that's what the left has been hijacked by. Back in the 80s, you probably remember the no nukes protests and all that stuff in Europe. Yes. Well, all those protests were paid and staged by the KGB in the Soviet Union. And what a lot of people don't know because they just don't know. I'm a history junkie, so that's why one of the reasons why I know. When the Soviet Union collapsed and we had access to the Verona cables, we found out that how much they were influencing those things. There was no grassroots effort to just rise up and do these things. George Soros is MoveOn.org and a bunch of other places. These people are bought and paid for. And this is just, they lost the election. They lost big time. So now what do they have to do? They have to cast doubt on the guy before he even got started. Right. But when Obama, I gave Obama a couple of weeks. That's how long it took for him to lose me. When he came out with his agenda, I was like, whoa, okay. So, but I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt when he got inaugurated. I says, well, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see what happens. I was not wrong. I was corrected. And he did everything wrong that I thought he would do wrong.
Okay. So you don't think that the millennials are out there because they, never were taught how to lose. They never really were, everybody got a trophy.
Well, that has a lot to do with it. I think most of the ringleaders are paid. They're going to get people that are charismatic and they can be influential. And, you get a few hot girls in there and then the guys will follow along because most of those guys are just there, I think, because they're just thinking there's a chance they can get laid. So that's how guys think.
That's how guys think. Okay.
So, right. Because you might have a guy that might be like so conservative, but he'll just like put the game face on and say, yeah, the hell with Donald Trump. And he'll just say whatever he has to do so he can throw some lumber in the woodshed. And that's about it, because that's how men are. Sorry, ladies, but that's the truth.
Right. So now that this big fury has been unleashed because, the liberals didn't win the election. The person that's really kind of taking it on the chin is the head of the FBI director.
Comey.
Comey, because he opened up that email thing again right before the election. Mm-hmm. And he thinks that kind of spurred people to move away from them. And then also, I took some shit because I'm a third-party voter. Mm-hmm. And people are like, hey, you know what? You shouldn't be able to do that.
Well, only 4.5 million people voted for Aleppo. And not many more voted for her. But she wasn't on the ballot on all 50 states either.
Right. And then, what I have to say to you, that if you think, it's my fault and you're upset with me because I voted for Johnson. Well, get good. You. That's what I got to say.
Well, no,
and I'm actually proud.
His votes actually hurt Clinton and not Trump. So you actually helped the guy that you hate so much.
That's fine. I don't care. I really don't care. I think I voted for the best guy. And he didn't win. Well, what am I going to do?
Right. Well, he didn't even have a ghost of a chance. I mean,
he was still the best guy. We're supposed to go vote for the best guy. We'll see.
Like it or not, you vote for the most viable candidate. If the guy had 25% like Perot did, now he's viable. But when he's languid, especially when he fell down the well like a cannonball, in the polls, like he dropped 50% in like 2 weeks. I mean,
I couldn't do it.
That's unbelievable.
Dude, I looked. When I went into the voting booth, I sat there and I looked. I didn't just walk in, punch my ticket and walk out. I sat there and I really thought about it. I'm like, okay, here we are. And I do I really, who do I want? Can I vote for Trump? Can I vote for Clinton? can I vote for either one of these? And the answer was no. Mm-hmm. The answer was no. I couldn't do it. I couldn't vote for either one. So in my own, and listen, my vote in New Jersey didn't matter because the state went so Democratic, it was ridiculous.
My hometown went for Trump.
There you go.
Yeah,
Atta boy.
Like, of course, the town that I live in now, it's the bluest goddamn town in the bluest goddamn county in the bluest goddamn state. Boy, do I know how to pick them. So it's just like, here's your poison pill.
So, so let's talk about the future, since you seem to be able to predict the future.
I never said I just basically, I know history. That's all. I've been reading American history, and I think by proxy, if you're in the history as much as I am, by proxy, you wind up following politics.
I wish I could really dig into you. I wish I could give you the lie detector test, the internet lie detector test today, to find out how shocked you are that he won.
I thought he had a closer chance than the polls suggested. That's why I kept saying, don't listen to the polls, because I know this is anecdotal, and it was probably anecdotal for you, but look we know how blue this state is. Did you see any Hillary signs anywhere? Anywhere? I mean,
No.
I may have seen 3. Look at the people that you are friends with on Facebook. I have maybe 300 plus friends, and all my friends are people that I know. I've had interaction with them. Not too many people were like keen on Hillary, but everyone that I knew, at least, and I know this isn't scientific, and I know it's anecdotal,
right?
But there was so many people that were just so, even in public places. If I was in like the supermarkets or something, if people talked about it, everyone said they were voting for Trump. So I'm like, are the polls that whacked out? And evidently they were. I think people were just, like I said, not telling the truth to pollsters because they didn't want to be painted with the racist brush.
I guess after it was even probably before the conventions, there was a lot of people that were fringe friends of mine. Okay. When I say fringe, they were on the outer. I knew them from, a friend of a friend of a friend. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is on social media.
But that counts to me because you've had interaction with them.
All right. So the thing was that they were so much on the Trump bandwagon, I couldn't take it. Mm-hmm. So I booted them. And I'm not, and me, I love a good debate. I love the ball bust. So, and I've been doing my share of ball busting since the election. I've been digging in and going into enemy territory and going, so for me, back then, and again, it wasn't that they were pro-Trump. It was that they were stupidly pro-Trump for the most stupid reasons. And I thought to myself, oh, my goodness gracious.
Well, see, what makes this campaign different than others is because very, very few people were voting for their candidate. They were just voting against the other one.
Exactly. And that's what I didn't want to do.
And a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that didn't have the cognitive dissonance to recognize that, because people, you're going to vote for Trump. And I would say, well, he's not the guy that I wanted, but what am I going to do? I can't put her in there.
Right.
And they just can't wrap, some people, I don't know what it is. They just can't wrap their head around. They just don't have the cognitive dissonance to recognize that.
So if you will allow me the floor, I would like to give you my dissertation on how this all went down. It all started back in 2008 when Clinton was trying to become the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, and Obama showed up.
Then she was senator only.
Yeah, senator. So she was vying for this position, and Barack Obama caught on. He decided that it's, he came on here. He was charismatic. He was a black candidate. He had a shot, and, he really, he electrified the party, and she had to bow out. And in my heart of hearts, I think that, there was a deal made. And now I can't prove any of this. This is just my accusations, but if you look at it, it makes sense.
Well, the deal was that the press wanted Obama and not her. Right. They all fell right behind behind the guy that was senator 144 days. Yeah, he's qualified.
Right, exactly. Which is the kind of the same thing as trying to put Mark Rubio in as this year. Hold on, here's my ride. Can you hear that?
Yes, I do.
So anyhow, I guess what happened was
But Rubio had 4 or 5 years in as a senator because he just ran for re-election.
Right.
So yeah, 5 years is more than 144 days.
Exactly. But he was charismatic. He was a black man, and history could be made. And to be honest with you, he was intelligent. And listen, I'm not a fan of his policies.
You think so?
I'm not a fan of his policies, but I like the guy. I'm not a fan of his policies, but he comes out and when he speaks, whether it's a put on or whatever, he's got it. And again, I feel that I know people.
It is a put on because
maybe, but usually I can sniff that out.
Yeah, he's the best teleprompter president we ever had, because if you ever hear the guy to speak extemporaneously off the top of his head what he believes in, he stammers, he stutters, because he can't tell you what he really believes in because he's a socialist.
Okay, so the way I back this up is when he was just out campaigning for Hillary, and it was on the news where he was giving a speech, and a older gentleman stood up with a Trump sign, and everybody started booing. And he calmed everybody down, and he said, hey, listen, he's allowed to have his opinion. All right? He's an older gentleman. We got to respect him because he's elder. We respect our elders. And it looks like he's a veteran, and we got to respect him for his service. Mm-hmm. And, you might not agree with what he says, so go out and vote. Mm-hmm. All right? So at least he didn't say.
What else is he going to say?
Well, no. I mean, hey, listen, you're talking
about. What is going to say? Kill him.
The president-elect said, I would like to punch, I'd like to take a person, when he saw a protester, he said, I'd like to come over there and punch him in the face.
Yeah, right. But Obama also said when they bring a gun to a knife fight. Would you forget about that? Yes.
Well, my thing is that I just think I still think the guy's a good guy. And the reason, and listen, I have to go with my gut. And my gut really hasn't failed me. Usually, if you're a bullshit artist, I can sniff a bullshit artist out in like 15 minutes.
Well, you missed this one.
I don't know.
You must have had a cold that day, because I don't know.
I'm telling you. I mean, listen, I've been watching him now for 8 years.
This guy has been totally repudiated. Totally, because he has no legacy now. He has none. Trump's going to come in, all those executive orders, executive actions, they get rolled back. Obamacare gets rolled back. Everything that this guy put in place, he has nothing to hang his hat on now. He's done.
All right. So let me get back to my theory. Mm-hmm. So they said, my hypothesis. So, so now in 2016, we're going to let you run. You can run again. So she's getting ready to run. And now all of a sudden, Bernie Sanders pops his head up.
Right. He was the wild card.
And
because he's an independent.
And he also he electrified the base. And a lot of people loved what he was saying. And she is.
He electrified millennials with the promise of free college. And who's going to pay for that?
Jackass.
Because every other policy that he had was,
Okay. So, again, here she is where she might even lose the primary. She might not even make it to the election. Mm-hmm. Now, back when she lost in 2008, she took the head of her campaign and she worked her into the head of the DNC.
Yeah, Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz.
And
Tim Kaine was the head of the DNC prior to that.
Right. So now she's getting fed information on Bernie's campaign, and they are underhandedly.
Right. They stole that from Bernie.
They stole the
damn
nomination.
near stole it. If she didn't win it outright, it would have been razor-thin margin of victory.
Okay. So it comes out. I don't know who this wiki guy is, but I love his leaks.
Juliet Assange.
Right before the Democratic
the DNC convention,
which was in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. They drop all these emails, and the press pour over them like vultures. And they find these emails where Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz is feeding information to Clinton and is doing everything she can to kind of undermine Bernie's campaign. So much so that she had to resign the day before. Now, here's one of the big mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it was at like a day and a half and she resigned.
Right.
Like she knew, it was like, whoop, I'm out.
Here's where I think Clinton made one of her biggest mistakes was at that point, she should have said, listen, Debbie, I know what you did. Okay, I got your back. But right now, you're just going to take a back seat. We'll pay you. We'll give you something. But no. What she did was Clinton immediately hired her to be the special co-chair of her campaign. So it was like she brought her right in. It was like it was like a spy that got caught. She
kept her at arm's length.
Exactly. The base, her base, the people, the Democrats, they saw this and they were pissed. And they were so mad that they left the convention, and the convention would have been empty if they didn't go and on Craigslist, because I saw this myself. I saw it on Craigslist because it was here. They were paying people $50 to go in, sit down, and cheer for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And
you know what that reminded me of? Because I saw that too. Remember back in the day, you would be walking down the Atlantic City boardwalk, and there would be guys in front of the casino just handing out free tickets for a show. I mean, I saw Nipsey Russell.
Russell?
I think he might be dead.
Sure.
And I don't even know how many people even remember who Nipsey Russell is, but he used to be on Hollywood Squares.
Right.
And like, and that's what they had to do just to fill the auditorium that he was in, because then he probably wouldn't come back or whatever.
Right.
That's what it reminded me of. It's like, okay.
So they're, here.
They ain't doing nothing.
But here, they're giving free tickets, and you're like, hey, Nipsey Russell, I'll go see him for free. But if they would have went and said, here's free tickets to go see to come into the DNC, then nobody would have took them. So they had to actually pay.
They had to
for
bribe
it.
them. Right.
So it's even worse than what that is. It's because it's like you were on the boardwalk. They said, hey, you want to make $25? Let's go in and watch Nipsey Russell and applaud for him, please.
Right. Yeah. It also, she got big crowds on the backs of entertainment, which I question how many of those people really were Hillary supporters, or how many of them just said, hey, what the hell? I'm going to go see Springsteen for free. So, or Beyonce or Jay-Z or Bon Jovi.
Sting, not Sting.
Katy Perry.
Who did she bring out? Springsteen. Who was the last one? Springsteen, and was it Bono and
Bon Jovi, Springsteen.
Oh, Bon Jovi. That's right.
In Philadelphia.
Bon Jovi and
now,
Springsteen.
She would get 10,000 that way, but Trump would just land in Pig's Knuckle, Arkansas, and he'd have 10,000 people. So the guy he was definitely captured the genie and put it in the bottle. I mean, he caught lightning in the bottle.
People were sick of it. We were sick of the nonsense. We were sick of everybody peeing in our ear and telling us it was raining. We were sick of that whole thing. We were sick of giving everything away. And I said today that, we wouldn't care about the illegal immigrants if they didn't get all these benefits that we can't get, that we're paying for.
And then our veterans are just dying in VA centers and
because they're
homeless.
Horrible.
Yeah. And
they have the worst health care.
They should do away with the VA.
Listen, I've worked in enough of them as an elevator repairman to know that it could be done so much better, so much cheaper, so much.
Exactly. See, the VA was a great idea when we were an agrarian country right after the Civil War. There's only a few major cities. Now you can't swing a dead cat and not hit a hospital. Do away with the VA.
Right.
Just tear it down. Give these guys vouchers. Now they can go to any hospital they want. Here's $2,000. Okay, I'm going to Jeff now.
Right.
All right, I'm going to Cooper Hospital. Whatever.
Yeah.
The VA's here we go again with this bullshit.
Diane,
let's see how long this takes.
Tick, 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 tick.
Oh,
look at her. Atta girl.
Janie on the spot. I love her.
My friend. So, couldn't you shut the ringer off on that? You think maybe next time?
It'll ring anyway.
It'll ring. Why won't it ring anyhow? It doesn't have a ringer that you can turn off?
No.
Does it?
It's one of those cheapo phones.
Usually has an off ringer on it.
No, don't.
That was probably made by a liberal.
No, it's probably made in China.
So anyhow.
It's either off or on. That's it.
That's it. You don't get no choice on ringer. You don't need no choice. It ring, you pick up.
Yeah. Should just let that ring forever. Usually when I'm, hip deep in something busy. And then she uses the tone. I'm busy.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
So back to whatever we were talking about, because now I've completely. Oh, look, something shiny.
Yeah, it was just we were talking about the celebrities and
right,
how
well,
she couldn't. I mean, it was embarrassing for like Kane. He would have like 30 people at an event.
Right.
You know, it was just like Mike Pence would show up and get a few thousand.
I got to tell you, even my buddy Gary Johnson was doing well. See, the thing with Gary Johnson was,
yeah, well, he did better.
What was going on with Gary Johnson, everything he basically ran through social media. He ran a social media campaign. I followed Gary Johnson, so I got to see everything that he put out, which he impressed me. I got to tell you, he really impressed me. I don't know if you watched anything. I know, well, you probably did because I posted it, and you being the person that you are, you went to go in there just to refute me.
No.
You were looking for little nuggets just to refute me. Come on, play it.
I just checked your spelling.
Yeah, play it. Come on. You know you want to.
Where's Aleppo?
No, I'm not on that board. I've moved on. The election's over. We don't need that anymore.
You don't have that anymore?
That's all in the past, John.
So she basically alienated her own base.
Well, I think that deplorable comment really
that fired people up too,
because people were like deplorable, you know, and that was talk about. I mean, they got all over Romney for correctly pointing out that 47% of the people don't pay any federal income taxes, and he was mean. Right. Here's a woman that got like right on there, and she didn't say it once. There was tape of her in numerous campaign stops using that line, and finally it caught up to her and it bit her in the ass.
What was that?
That was Sears saying Happy Thanksgiving, and they're obviously got a sale going on.
Okay.
Here, I'll tell you what's going on at Sears.
No, I don't want to know what's going on. Let me get through my theory. So
Happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yes. Well, we're doing this on Veterans Day.
Well, that's what Sears is wishing me. So they're evidently having... They sent me a Veterans Day sale flyer at 6:53 p.m. I'm just going to run right out to Sears right now.
You ain't doing nothing in the next 2 hours?
Yeah, we don't really want you to come here and buy anything at a discount. Fuck you.
We want to send you the sales.
We're just going to go through the motions that we care.
Just to piss you off. This is what you could have got. You paid attention. Must be run by liberals. All right, so now she's going through this deplorable thing, and you know I don't know where he ended up gaining all this. What I do know is that the evangelical vote came out in force.
Mm-hmm.
It was
allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll crush you.
Well, isn't that not the truth that they came out in force? That was the most evangelical.
And where did you hear that on?
The news. Where else would I hear it from? What do you think? I went out and said, "Hey, yo."
And who runs the news? Predominantly
the predominantly liberal people. All right, so okay, crush
go
me
ahead.
now.
I'll let you finish.
I don't know. I'm listening. So crush me. Go ahead, crush me. So what do you know that I don't know?
Well, we got into this last night a little bit, but before I go into that, I got the numbers here from the Pew Research Center.
Okay,
and this is the election 2016, and they also compare and contrast going back to the election of 2000. And we had the presidential vote by religious affiliation and race.
Okay.
Now, in 2000, Bush got 56% of the Protestant / other Christian.
Okay.
Trump got 58%.
Okay. So he got a little bit more.
Okay. Now, all the elections in between, here's how it went. In 2000, 56% went for Bush. 59% went for Bush in 04, 54% went for McCain in 08, 57% went for Romney in 12, and 58% went for Trump in this last election. So the numbers are basically
still
stable. They're pretty stable.
So still 42% voted for Clinton. Or other parties?
No, 39% voted for Clinton.
So then the other 3%.
That's where your big disparity, because it was closer in other elections. Like, for example, in 08, Obama got 45% of them, and McCain got 54%. And Obama got 42% of them last time around, and Romney got 57%. So where the evangelicals is, they bailed on the candidate probably because of Trump correctly pointing out her stance on partial birth abortion, which she was in favor of during that last debate.
See, and again, I'm a pro-choice person, but I'm pro-choice like within the first trimester. Mm-hmm. That whole second, third trimester, I'm not about that. You should know what you want to do by that certain amount of time.
A big increase, which was a surprise, was Catholics. Again, going back past elections, 47% went to Bush in 2000, 52 in 04, 45 in 08, 48 in 12, and 52% went for Trump, which is a big increase. White Catholics, those numbers basically stay stable. Hispanic Catholics, Trump lost big there. Bush had 33% of them both times. Trump got 26%. Jewish, that's huge block voting for the Democrats at all time. But Trump made inroads there. Gore got 79%, 74% for Kerry, 78% for Obama, 69% for Obama last time around. Trump lost big time there, which is no surprise.
So it looks like for the second time in, the second time in 16 years, a Democratic candidate's going to lose the popular vote or win the popular vote, but lose the electoral college.
Right. That's twice in our lifetime. You and I have seen that.
So we've seen that twice in our lifetime.
Right. It's happened in 1834. It happened in 1868, I believe.
So now what about this petition? Is there any chance, is there a snowball's chance in hell that this petition can do anything to the college, that everybody's all up in arms out?
No.
So they're just
that's not how government works.
That's not how any of this works.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. It's like that commercial.
It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. Touching on what we talked about last night about the religious right, because this is the rumor, the story that the media likes to bandy about, that the Republican Party is controlled by the religious right. Mm-hmm. And basically, I had to go. You gave me a fucking job to do today because I had to go down into my vast library downstairs and pull the books, and it took me a while to find it. But basically, I cobbled this together from the material that I have. And just bear with me. In 1980, it was asked by the Washington Post, who was breathlessly anticipating the defeat of the religious right and the moral majority. Will 340,000 members of the moral majority have as much impact on the election as 16 million labor union members registered to vote? So right now they were like, they're going to die. This is it. Then Reagan got elected. Okay. 1 year later, David Broder of the Washington Post was reporting about the powerful religious right. In 1982, the midterms saw Democratic gains. So in 1983, Newsweek announced that the religious right was faltering. Reagan won re-election by a 49-state vote-to-1 margin, and the religious right was back. In 1989, the Boston Globe reported that the moral majority was closing its doors. But then in 1990, the religious right had to be vanquished again, this time for good. But wait, in 1993, they were back after the midterms of 1992, and the Republicans took the House back for the first time in 40 years. So by July 94, the USA Today reported that they were a menace, and shortly thereafter, they reported that they were dead, even though they were reported dead in 1980, 1983, 1989, and again in 1990. I've seen this before. Basically, they always need a boogeyman to go after. Okay. So basically, and my prediction is when the Democrats are in power, the religious right has been crushed. But when they lose power, they trot out that chestnut that we have to stop the menace of the religious right.
Right.
Here's some numbers on the 2000 election. All right. Black people voted 90% for Gore, 8% for Bush. Jewish people voted 79% for Gore, 19% for Bush. Hispanics voted 67% for Gore, 31% for Bush. Single or / unmarried women went 63% for Gore and 32% for Bush. So why is it, the question that I always ask people is, why is it okay for all these groups to do vote that way? And what I mean by vote that way, if 58% of evangelicals vote for a Republican, it's block voting. But when 90% of blacks or 90% of Jewish people vote for the Democrats, it's not block voting, it's the Republicans aren't getting their message across.
All right, so I understand what you're saying there, and I get it. And to be honest with you, if I can be honest with you, it's more of you defending that. But here's what I have to say about
defending what? I'm pointing out.
I know what you're saying. Okay, but what I'm saying is and I see what you're saying. You know, the why is that the block voting it, and you know something, you might actually be right. You've opened my eyes to something that I didn't know before, and I thank you for that. So here's what I'm going to say to the religious right and to people, and you know, you could even say this to Jewish people and Muslims and stuff like that. But I'm mainly talking to the religious right for the simple fact that this,
you mean Christians, the religious right?
Christians, yes, which I consider myself a Christian. Mm-hmm. I know you think I don't believe in God because I believe in pro-choice because I believe in somebody's right to make that choice. Whether I would make that choice or not, that doesn't make a difference. It should be able to. Everybody should be able to make their own choice. That's how I feel, and that's how I feel like in anything. Guns, pregnancies. What else do we have up on the marijuana? Okay,
that's still illegal. It'd be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Marijuana won more states than Hillary.
Now, see, here's what a lot of people don't understand. And you're right. She that did win more than Hillary did. You had a president, the outgoing president chose to enforce or not enforce certain laws. Marijuana is still illegal at the federal level. It's just that Obama chose not to enforce them. You could very well have a new administration come in. I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't think it will happen unless I think they might revise the laws at the federal level. But if you got a president in there that decided that he wanted to enforce the law, all those states are out of the marijuana business.
Okay, I'll go with that. But here's my thing. I would have to say that alcohol, the beer that you're drinking that's sitting beside you right now.
Ah, that's long gone, dude.
All right. The beer that was sitting beside you a few minutes ago is just as harmful as marijuana. Mm-hmm. And I'm not and here we go again. I've never smoked marijuana in my life, and I would never smoke marijuana. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But what I'm saying is that I don't see anything wrong with it. The only thing that I see that's blocking this is the alcohol industry, who doesn't want competition from the marijuana industry, to be quite honest with you.
That's really basically the issue that a lot of people have with marijuana is that there is evidence that it does, it is a gateway drug, as they like to term it.
So is alcohol. Alcohol can be considered as much a gateway drug.
Alcohol is a drug.
Right.
But if you don't start with alcohol and go to a stronger form of alcohol, it's just based on your consumption.
No, but you could go from alcohol to marijuana, from marijuana to cocaine, from cocaine to
heroin. Alcohol and marijuana have two different effects on people. Generally, marijuana just mellows you out. And from what I'm told, I've never taken any drugs of any kind in my life.
Right.
And I have no interest in it, nor ever. But there is a crime factor, even though alcohol is a legal product and there's crime associated with that. It does tear apart neighborhoods. It does tear apart industries. You have the issue with beer is that there is a way, or alcohol or whatever form, you can regulate the alcoholic content. Some states do that. There's some brands of beer, at least it used to be in the day. If you bought like a Budweiser down south, there was less alcohol in it than there was up here. Genghis used to love to play, when he was in the Air Force, they used to love to play poker against those good old boys down south because they couldn't drink. Because they were from Philadelphia or Chicago or New York, and they were getting full bore alcohol. So all they had these good old boys were drinking like 3% alcohol, Budweiser or Miller, and all they had to do was just buy some gin or scotch or whatever, get them all ginned up and take their money. So I was like, yeah, it was great.
So that being said, for me, and I'll, here's another thing. I'm a poker player. All right. I consider poker a game of skill. I don't consider it gambling, because gambling means that, like with 21, although there is some skill, there's more there. I can make you, the hand does, in poker, the hand doesn't have to go to the end. So, I can make you fold, even though I have the worst hand. So it really is a game of skill. And they've come in and, online gambling, they've basically shut it down. And it's really a victimless crime, to be quite honest with you.
Well, Jersey overregulated the industry.
They ruined it, because now I can only play with people from New Jersey. So now what happens is, before I had a worldwide place where I could play. I could play with people from Czechoslovakia, and I could play with people from England, and I could play from people from all over the world. But now they came in and said, okay, we're going to give you legalized online gambling, but only people in New Jersey can play. Well, how many people do you think that is?
Well, that's it. Out of 9 million people, half of them are kids, and out of that half that remains, how many are poker players? So
exactly.
It's a small number.
There's you might as well just wipe your ass with that whole thing. They did nothing. So, and then here's the other thing. There's other states that have made gambling online legal. Why can't I go and play with those guys or those people? But so again, what you're saying.
Same thing. Why can't I buy cigarettes from across there? Touching back on the marijuana, that's my biggest problem, having spent all those years in the tobacco industry. The government, predominantly Democrats, were just stepping all over their dicks just to do away with smoking. I mean, they put me through hell in that industry. It's bad for you. You shouldn't smoke, but they're all in favor of smoking dope, smoking marijuana. It's just wait a minute, and there's evidence that what you're going to get out of marijuana regarding tar levels, the poisons that are in it, the toxins, that's way worse than smoking cigarettes. So, it's just, to me, I think it's pandering. I think maybe some of the people don't believe in that, but they'll just pander just for the votes.
Well, the other thing is that now that they have edibles out, and edibles, you don't have that problem with the smoking and all. It's not as bad for you. To eat it isn't as bad for you. So you don't have that same problem.
So smoking it and eating it, the chemicals just go away.
Well, smoking,
you're ingesting it, you're just not burning it.
You're not burning it, and burning it is where the problem is.
You're still ingesting it.
Yeah, but what happens is it's just a plant. It's just like eating lettuce, kind of, sort of.
So there's no poison plants out there?
Yes, there's poison
if you
plants.
ate it, you might die?
No, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you're talking about over-regulating and everything and being able to regulate it. Well, that's the same problem. Well, the reason you can't go buy cigarettes in Delaware is because the taxes are different. All right, so that's why you can't go down to Delaware and bring all the cigarettes up here, because then New Jersey would lose in all this tax revenue. So that's why.
Well, then you're a bootlegger.
Exactly, the same way that you're allowed to buy beer, but you can't make your own beer. It's really illegal to do that.
Well, they've changed a lot of those laws,
right?
With the home brewing and all that.
Yeah, well, now because people down south they make their career out of moonshine. That's what they live on. They go, they find a spot. You saw the show Moonshine.
No, I have not.
You didn't see Moonshine? It's the best show.
Not interested.
Oh my God, it's so funny. They're down there making moonshine, and they make enough moonshine in 3 months where they can live off the profit of that for the whole year. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well.
So, but again, if they get caught, they go to jail.
Well, yeah, because with the cigarettes, that's the Jenkins Act that you're violating. Little inside baseball.
So what I say now, as we wrap this up, because I really don't want to make this a 2-hour show.
What are we in for?
We're in for about an hour.
Yeah. Check us out. You must be sitting there with a huge chubby because you got to talk for 1 hour about politics, and I never want to.
We're basically done. And you want to. You just don't like a debate. You like to talk about
I like the
politics
debate
with your friends that agree with you.
No.
You don't like anybody. And here's the other thing. You like being able
I love to crush the opposition.
Yeah, you love to crush the opposition, but you really don't crush me. we actually have a debate. I'm interested in what you said, in what you say, and I'll listen to you. I just don't sit there and put my hands in my ears and go, nah, 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 when you talk. And then when I talk, you put your fingers in your ears and go, nah, 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 so you can't hear. The liberals. I'm in the middle. I deal with both sides. I look at the liberal side. I go, hey, they've got some really cool, there's some cool ideas there that we could work with. And I look at you guys and I say, hey, there's some cool ideas to work with. But I'm the middle guy. I'm the Gary Johnson of this whole thing, where I can bring people to the middle. That's when we're going to start to really change this country around, is when we can get to the middle, when there's not a left and a right.
Right.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Probably not.
Probably not. But I don't understand it. As far as I'm concerned, 97% of you people are chuckleheads. How the hell could you not vote for Gary Johnson?
Well, because he sucked.
He didn't suck. He's never been investigated. He wanted to cut taxes. He wanted to free up the market. He wanted to do everything you said that you would like to see done.
No, not everything.
But what?
No, libertarians use, and he was like a pseudo-libertarian. Right. So you would say you're open-minded.
Yes, I am open-minded.
I can't find the direct quote, but Will Rogers said one time, it's like,
fuck Will Rogers.
Yeah, like as if you know who he is.
He's a horse rider. He's a cowboy. He was an actor.
That's Roy Rogers, not Will Rogers.
Oh, well, fuck him too.
Yeah. Will Rogers was basically saying like...
Roy Rogers? That was a restaurant.
Yeah. Okay. Will Rogers is basically talking about politicians, open-minded, or is a status or where you're so open-minded that your brains fall out. Oh, I'm open-minded.
Well, that comes from a closed-minded person that's upset because they're closed-minded.
No.
Here's the thing about it.
He was pretty funny.
You have to be able to look at things from all sides. And be able to have it, be able to look at it objectively. Here you go. I'm not going to say open-minded anymore, so you can't use this word. I'm objectively minded. Okay, I can look at something and not just posh it off because it came from a certain person, because I don't like the rest of their politics. Oh, this can't be right because it came from them, and they're this politics flavor.
Who are you, and what have you done with John?
What? What are you talking about? I've always been this way. Yeah. So that's how I feel. I mean, I can't get behind the Republicans 100% because there's certain things that I don't agree with. And I can't get behind the Democrats 100% because there's certain things I don't agree with. I like to come in the middle. I like to take pieces from what you do and pieces from what they do and bring it together and make something that could actually work. But we're going to see.
Everything that guy just says bullshit.
Right. Well, we'll see, Mr. You've got, like I said, right now, you have no excuses. You have the House, you have the Senate, and you have the President. So in 2 years...
Well, you still have parliamentary procedure, but we'll see what happens.
Here we go.
No, because I'm just saying there is parliamentary procedures.
Again, you're hedging your bets. You're making an excuse. So you're already making excuses.
No, because
everything that guy just said is bullshit.
Because some of us read history and some of us just fly off the handle on something on the news. This is wrong, motherfuckers.
Hey, listen, I'm not out there protesting this whole thing. I'm not out there protesting. I didn't protest when Obama was elected the first time.
No, nobody did.
Right.
It's just like, well, it wasn't my candidate. He won. That's it.
Right. Now, all of a sudden, everybody has their feelings hurt and they decide that they're allowed to go out there. They're allowed to go out there and
well,
and I don't listen. If they want to go for a walk with candles and say he's not my president, I don't have a problem. As long as
that's one of the stupidest things to say because he is your president.
Well, of course he is.
If you think about it, what they are protesting is a fair and square election.
Right.
They didn't like the outcome.
Right.
I didn't see the Cleveland Indians fans marching down. Oh, they're not my world champions. The Cubs won. I mean, it's like stupid. It's so retarded.
Right. That's true. If you look at it that way.
It's just like, yeah, it's exactly
they're not my World Series champions.
Yeah. I won't recognize them. Petition. Tip that bus over. Let's go.
I want a flat screen TV.
Yeah, I need a new television. Leave those work boots right there. No need for those.
I guess
Where the hell are the Air Jordans at?
Nobody steals work boots when they raid the stores.
No, hard hats and work boots always remain untouched in a riot, and lunch pails. Yeah, we'll have none of that.
All right, well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this bonus episode of the
Volume
Brand X
1?
podcast. What's that?
Volume 1.
Volume 1. And we'll be back Friday with another episode. We'll be back Friday with another episode, right? What are we recording, Tuesday this week?
Yeah.
All right, so this is going to go out right away.
Yeah, me wondering now. Like, seems like we just did this.
We did just do this.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
and we should have waited. We should have waited. If we were smart, we would have waited until Wednesday.
but don't you feel a little bit foolish for trying to bait me the last time and trouble?
No, I wasn't really trying to bait you. I just thought there was no way. Listen, I can bust your balls any day of the week. I don't need that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I really, in my heart of hearts, thought there was no way he had a snowball's chance in hell winning this election.
And I thought he did. I'm not saying that he's a Reagan, but I just remember how the 80 election went down with Reagan. They had Carter up, and he conceded it at like a little bit after 8 o'clock.
Well,
Eastern Standard Time. I mean, like they were still voting in California, and he just says, "Well, I suck." Yeah. And just one final thought: how low? It's lower than whale shit that she would not go out and speak to those people and her supporters,
right?
And she sent Podesta out there to say, "Go home, nothing to see here, move along."
That is true. And here's the thing with that: I have to say is I don't think she had a concession speech.
I think she did, but I think she was blubbering and passing out and being thrown in the side of that black van. Yeah, well, she had that meltdown when she lost in 08 during the primary. So,
right.
You know, she canceled the fireworks display hours before. I think they knew. I think that there was a metric. They had something in their polls, their internal polling, that may have kind of tipped them off.
What do you think they're doing now? I hear they're in New York right now, and I hear they're walking the dogs in the woods and all that kind of stuff. Bill and Hillary are in the woods, and I think that's bullshit. I think that's a planted story.
Yeah, you saw that joke I put up. I put this on the Trello. I thought we would be using this.
I thought I was going to be the first man. Now what? What am I going to do? I'm out of politics and I'm stuck with her.
I ran that. I made that joke, and I said, I got Chelsea Clinton, and I put her over the baby Darth Vader with the shadow. And I said the Phantom Menace. I said, I hope this isn't in our future. Well, today in the news, if you didn't get a chance to check the board, New York Post, Chelsea Clinton being groomed to run for Congress.
That's right. I got to get to the White House somehow. If you can't do it, I got to get Chelsea to do it.
Yeah. So while some pundits are declaring the Clinton political dynasty dead, sources tell us that it is far from over. Chelsea Clinton is being groomed for the New York seat held by Representative Nita Lowey.
Did you see the way that Bill was looking at her?
We're going to be dealing with another goddamn Clinton candidate for president in a couple of decades.
Well, what about the Bushes? You think the Bushes will start rolling them out?
I thought myself, Jeb Bush was a pretty good guy, and I had said this before. I think there was,
he's like the retarded
definitely,
Kennedy.
there's definitely Bush and Clinton fatigue in this country.
Right. So
I don't think anybody wanted Clinton or Bush.
So how old is Chelsea now?
She might be like 35.
35.
Yeah, let me go to that story. Let's see.
Let's see how old she is. Because you figure she's got maybe another 10 years. She'll be ready.
You only have to be 35.
Right, but she's got about another 10 years. She's got to win. She's got to get into politics.
She's probably 35 now. Well, this seems to be a job for Google. Hold on.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I thought that article would have had it.
It's all up to you now, Chelsea. Mom didn't seem to be able to do it. We're going to have to get you out there. And I'll tell you what. I won't be in the White House, but if you could get me a little room off to the side, I'd really appreciate it.
She's 36 now.
36. Holy cow. I've been with this woman for 30-something years. Yeah. Oh, my God. Monica. Hello, Monica. I need me a new woman.
I don't know. I guess it's just it's a Hillary Clinton genetic thing. They just lust for power. So now we got to deal with Chelsea Clinton.
Will the Clintons break up now? Will the Clintons get a divorce now that this is all over?
I don't know. They love the money too much. They're both got it with the Clinton Foundation being investigated because that dog and pony show hasn't ended.
You know what I like better than pussy? Money. I like money. Money and pussy. I'm a happy man. That's right. Bend over, you fat ass white woman. You're going to get what you deserve.
Hey, you're awful. I don't know what it's like. Like she like takes off that huge pantsuit and it's like just.
I told you, woman. Could you put something around there to keep the flies away, please? What the hell is that? I'm out of here, Monica.
Look, Hillary's got pneumonia. Quick, put her in the car.
Why'd you have to stop? All right, Hillary, you didn't win the presidency. You can die now. She might be the next one. I don't know what happened to her. She accidentally shot herself in the back of the head 4 times.
She accidentally cut her head off while shaving her legs.
Wouldn't that be something? Could you imagine, like within a year, something happens to her and she just dies? Oh, they'll be all.
Oh, she's not in the best of. She is. I think there is something wrong with her because she had that brain thing and she falls down a lot. I mean, I don't want to wish that on anybody.
There's nothing wrong with me.
But I don't think she was the healthiest, physically healthiest person.
Right. They had that guy that was always out there talking to her. It's okay. It's okay.
Dr. Drew. Yeah, he lost his show over. He canceled his show.
Yeah, and then Bill, he's like,
did you hear that story?
No.
You know who Dr. Drew is?
Yeah, he's the Drew Lipinski. He was the guy who did the.
Yeah, he had that TV show. He speculated that there's something wrong with her, like she might have brain damage or something like that. And shortly thereafter, whatever network he was on, they canceled his show. Yeah.
Hello, this is Bill Clinton.
Look, we're either going to cancel your show or you're going to be committing suicide by shooting yourself 4 times in the back of your head. So, cancel my show.
Hey, Dr. Drew, this is Bill Clinton. I got to tell you something. Ain't nothing wrong with that woman. That's my wife, and you better tell her you can do one of 2 things. You can either cancel that show of yours, or you'll find yourself accidentally shooting yourself in the back of the head 4 times.
Finish him.
That's right. What was that guy's name that was for Whitewater? Kent. What was his name? Come on, you should know, Deuce.
From Whitewater?
Yeah, what was his name? The one that accidentally died?
Oh, Ken Brown. There was Vince Foster.
Yeah,
Vince Foster died in the Whitewater.
Vince Foster.
And then they mysteriously raided his office and took all the paperwork regarding Whitewater. It disappeared. And then 2 years later, when the statute of limitations ran out, it turned back up.
Oh, look at that. We found it. Hey, Hillary, this is where, look, here's the papers right here. I'm sorry.
Did you ever see the Ron Brown funeral?
No.
Where Clinton turns on the waterworks? Bill Clinton?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Go to YouTube or something. Just punch in Bill Clinton, Ron Brown funeral. And
he's Ron Brown. The only person I can think of Ron Brown is the guy from WDBK.
Yeah, Ronnie B. the Falcon.
Right. Who's Ron Brown?
Zoom. Yeah. He was I think he was at the Department of the Interior or something like that. He was a Clinton friend, but he mysteriously died.
We used to go out all the time, pussy.
If you go on YouTube and Google Bill Clinton at Ron Brown funeral, the news camera had him on. He was walking side by side with somebody else, and he's laughing and having a holly jolly good time. And out of the corner of his eye, Clinton sees the news camera, and then he starts to like weep and turn on the water. You got to see it.
Hold on, I got to do it there. Oh, my friend Ron Brown.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's how grief is.
Oh, I'll tell you, he was such a good guy. Ron, what's his name? He was one of my best friends. He used to come over, we'd sit on the porch and we'd talk politics and pussy. I mean, we talk politics and.
Well, Vernon Hill said that about the golf course.
What golf course?
Vernon Hill was that tall, bald-headed black guy. And during the Monica Lewinsky scandal, like a year before that all broke,
I tried to text her that.
They were talking they asked Vernon Hill what him and Bill Clinton talk about on the golf course, and he just looked and he said, pussy.
That's right. There's nothing better than hitting balls and talking pussy. Drinking beer, hitting balls, and talking pussy. Now that's paradise, my friend. Oh, that Monica. I tell you, I tried texting her 2:30 in the morning during the night of the election, but she didn't take my text.
You up?
You up? Monica, you up?
That was funny.
I don't know. Monica, listen, I know we've had our differences in the past, but, can we put that all behind us? I know I'm starting to look like the crypt keeper, and I got more liver spots on my face than a golf course, but I think we could rekindle this, Monica. You want me.
Did you see that meme with Sammy Hagar side by side with Bill Clinton, and they're the same age?
Yeah, well, he hasn't been president, and he has had to fuck Hillary for the past 30 years.
Sammy Hagar looks awesome. He's like drinking tequila.
What if Hillary was the sexual one? That's like draining the life out of Bill. All of a sudden, the whip comes. All right, Bill, assume the position.
Oh, Hillary, not again. I don't know.
I don't want to hear it.
That hurt.
All right, we just did 20 minutes on Bill Clinton.
We just ran out of gas.
All right, everybody.
All right, then.
We will see you Friday. It's Monday, even though we're doing this Friday.
It's Monday.
I was going to put this out tomorrow, but Deuce put the kibosh on that because he needs something to listen to on Monday.
Yes, because I'm such a tyrant.
He's a tyrant. He runs the whole ship now.
Oh, yeah.
Now that Trump's in charge, I'm taking a back seat to Deuce.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
Have a good one.
That's it? We're just getting into it.